Judge Sanders.
Thank you, sister. I do appreciate the invitation. I was rather enjoying just listening to them going back and forth over here. I think it's unfair. They have a tag team, and I have to go by myself. So.
We'll help
Okay,
you
you'll
guys.
help me. Okay.
Don't worry, you can count on us.
Basically, I felt like there were 5 objectives or 5 questions that I needed to address tonight. Part of this because of Sister's ideas that she set forth, but and so I'd like to lay those out. First would be, what are we currently doing? What are our current activities? What are our challenges? What are our opportunities? Community involvement. How do we increase and improve community involvement? And then lastly but not least is expanding on our influence. We're so proud, and you've already heard it from these ladies, but those of us that are in leadership in this county are so proud of our county and the strides that we've made. And I have to credit Sister Claire with a lot of that. Because of her urging and her dragging and sometimes prodding, we have made tremendous strides over the past few years. And if you would allow me, I'd like to go through those 5 just quickly. And Sister, you can kick me if I get too long. So some of our current activities, we were named the first certified clean county in Kentucky. This was a program that started under Governor Patton as he was ending his term. And it was to identify all the dumps, illegal dumps in Washington County, and those are identified by the state. And we set about funding through some state money and through a lot of local money, getting those cleaned up. So we did that, knowing full well that we didn't have them all identified, but we have since then been able to identify and clean up all the known dumps. Now, I'm sure somebody sitting in this audience, and certainly someone that's watching on TV, is going to say, I know where one's located. Let us know, but we want to get those clean. We have made a concerted effort to move toward that. We started a litter abatement program, which is basically cleaning our roadsides. It just horrifies me, and as it does a lot of you, that we see so much trash, so much litter on our roadsides. And that takes education. It just takes time and persistence, but we've got to change that. But as long as we have that, then we need to make sure that it is picked up, that litter is abated. So we started that program. It's funded basically through the state, but every road in Washington County, not just the county road or the city streets, but all the state roads except Bluegrass Parkway, and that's done under another fund, they're patrolled and cleaned up several times a year. That program has also provided some income for nonprofit organizations because we allow those nonprofits to come in and do some of that cleanup, and they have certain guidelines for safety and all that, but it's kind of twofold purpose. In 2004, we started a recycling center. There had not been any recycling or no concerted effort in Washington County until 2004. That first year, we did 162.4 tons of recyclable commodities. We also sent to the landfill 9,790 tons that went into the landfill. After we got that started, we started developing partnerships. We're the first county in the state to develop partnerships with other counties and the cities in those counties. We currently partner with 5 counties, some on a much larger scale than others, and with 4 cities that we partner in our recycling program. So we have a regional recycling center. A lot of that has been funded through grants from the state, but I have to commend the fiscal court members on their commitment, even in times when it was not making money, that we were able to sustain that and keep moving forward with our recycling efforts. 2012, the most recent numbers that we have, we recycled 1,120 tons. That's a 7-fold increase from when we started. And at the same time, we took to the landfill 6,530 tons. That's a 33% decrease in the volume going to the landfill from this county. And I think those are numbers that we can all be proud of. We still continue our annual spring cleanup, basically for bulky items. It's just a service to our citizens, but our thinking was, and it has proven to be correct, that if we provide a place or a pickup for those bulky items, they will not end up, I'll use Washington County vernacular, in a holler somewhere. And they won't pollute our watershed and our streams. So that has been a very successful program. We continue to have a tire amnesty program. This is not for dealers. This is for private citizens. Every 3 years, we have a program where people can bring used tires to a designated location free of charge, and they will be disposed of. That will be coming up again this spring. So anyone watching, anyone here, if you have excess tires that you've had on your farm, in your garage, in an outbuilding, for whatever reason, it'll be a free drop-off for that. Again, it'll keep it out of our watershed, out of our streams. We've done extensive education in the schools. The school system has been wonderful to work with through community education programs and through our coordinator, George Ann Palmer, who's been there ever since the recycling program started. We've had a lot of competitions, and all of it is in the name of education, trying to involve students in becoming used to recycling. And what that has done, that is kind of an added bonus, we found that when you involve the students and they bring their parents in and their grandparents, and so we thought by teaching the students at a young age, they would become, the majority of them, would become recyclers as they mature. Well, we found that that's been a little more broad spread than what we anticipated. Of course, some of them stopped when the competition stopped, but we're gaining, obviously, by the tonnage that we're recycling, we're gaining ground there. We have an ongoing, very positive media campaign with the local papers, the radio, the TV, the cinema. We're even advertising the Bardstown Cinema. It's been amazing how much feedback we've gotten from that. Again, as you all were talking about, it's a shame that Washington County people have to go to out of county to go to a cinema. But we have to use what media is available, and we've gotten a lot of positive feedback on that. In 2011, we started something that's very unique. This is one of my pet projects, and along with the court, was very cooperative. We were the first county in a state to start a deceased animal composting. Again, there are a lot of animals in Washington County. We're basically an agrarian county with a lot of farmers that have animals, and as a part of producing animals, some of those are not going to make it. They're going to die. And so it needs to be something to be done with those other than just dragging them back, there I go again, back to the holler, and letting them decay and become, could be polluting our streams. So we started dead animal composting. That has been much watched from around the state. We've had a multitude of visitors that have come to look at it. We've had to change it just slightly as we've gone along. We've had a lot of input from University of Kentucky. That's been a very successful program. To kind of go away, I guess, a little bit from recycling and that, some of the things that we've also done that we feel are very important in our little bit of what we can do as far as sustainability. In 2009, as most of you all know, we built this beautiful new judicial center across the street from our old courthouse. And it was not scheduled to have, it was scheduled to have just the plain old HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning. And some of us that were on that board decided that we thought it was worth fighting for to have a geothermal system. And you know, as long as geothermal has been around, you would think that the state would start putting those systems in those extremely large buildings to make them more efficient and more cost effective. We had to go to a board in Frankfurt that approves that on 3 different occasions before they agreed to allow us to spend the extra funds up front to put the geothermal in, even though it was proven by our environmental engineers that a maximum of 7 years, more like 3.5 to 5, that system would pay for itself. The building is anticipated to be a 75-year building. So if it takes 7 years to pay for it, you're going to have tenfold that you're going to realize the savings, number one, so you're going to decrease the cost of the building, but you're also saving on our fossil fuels. You're using natural heat, natural energy from the earth to heat that building. And again, kick me if I go over time. The county did provide, and before I say this, I want to commend the city for their efforts in constructing the farmers market. That has been a wonderful addition to our community. The county did contribute a small amount to that. Probably not involved in that project as much as we should have been, but we did contribute some. We do provide annually an empty pesticide container collection, and you'll call it recycling because most of those can't be recycled unless there's an extensive rinsing project. Something that is recycling in its basic form, as you all know, we maintain county roads, and we have a lot of trees to cut. May have even more tonight if we get much ice. But the bulk of our heating at our county buildings is done through the wood that we cut off the side of the road. We have some large wood heaters, and so we use, I mean, that in itself is a basic form of recycling. That wood, what would be done with it? Well, it could be hauled to the landfill and burnt, or it can be used, you know, those BTUs can be captured and used to warm our men while they're working on equipment. So, and it's really nice on a cold day to go out there and back up to that warm morning heater out there.
2 more minutes.
We're currently using something we're just starting this year. We're using a mix of road salt and some very fine gravel, trying to extend. Again, that's twofold. The gravel is about 1/10 as expensive as our road salt, so we're trying to extend that. But the road salt is a corrosive, and it can become an acidic element on the side of the roads and pollute our water system. So we're trying to not only save money there, but to be a little more environmentally friendly. To go on to some of the other things, and well, I'm going to leave that for now. Some of the challenges, number 2, I'm just on number 2, and you tell me I'm out of time. It's not near as long. Some of the challenges that we face, and we have an immediate challenge. I don't know if you all know it. It'll be in the paper tomorrow. Our solid waste coordinator / recycling coordinator has retired. And she made that announcement at court on Monday, and her resignation will be the end of February. So a big challenge ahead of us now is to get someone to head up that program, to keep it moving forward, maybe make some adjustments, but that's a challenge. Funding, as these ladies have already alluded to, inconsistent commodity prices as far as what we recycle. It really challenges us to keep at a break even. We don't try to make money on a recycle, we just need to break even. Another challenge is, as I think Lisa mentioned, is routine pickup throughout the whole county. That's a challenge. And then participation. Even though I talk about the numbers that are up and the tonnage that's up, there's still so much more potential out there. Some of the opportunities, again, the same thing almost, greater participation, opportunities countywide, routine pickup. And then I think an opportunity that we have, there's been initial dialogue with some of the institutions, school systems, some of the other institutions in our county, maybe supplying local, having a consistent supply of food provided to them. That's a tremendous opportunity, and I think if we can start some of those young people eating fresh food, they'll and locally grown food is not transported and making a carbon footprint all over the nation, they might enjoy their vegetables more than some of them claim to. Community involvement, promotion. I mean, word of mouth is, you all know that's the best form of advertising. So of all of us that are recycling, that are buying local, whether it be food, whether it be goods and services, if you'll just keep spreading that word, it'll grow. It's grown tremendously when we look back on it. When we look at what happened yesterday, there's very little or no progress. You look at what happened 10 years ago, there's been tremendous progress. So stay encouraged and move forward. Forums like this, just sharing information. And then education. And then the final part, I told you to move through that quickly, is expanding our influence. How are we going to expand our influence? And it all goes down to the bottom line, as Lori said. And if we are successful, other people will notice. We are a very small county and a relatively small state. And Sister Claire has always said that we as a county have to do what we can do and then spread our influence. And I think if we are successful, then other people will notice, and it'll take a foothold. And just as I said about the deceased animal recycling, we have had, I know 3 other counties that have started that program. We've got some many others are looking. And our recycling center, we have visitors, the state brings in people all the time there. So I think being successful, showing that you can make it successful will be the sustaining feature of how we can influence a circle much broader than our little dot on the map. Sorry if I went over.
Every one of you was excellent. Thank you very, very much. You've really put some very important ideas and information and motivation out there for all of us to chew on. So I invite you now to have a conversation with each other for the next, let's say, 12 minutes. What did you hear from each other? What do you want to talk more about? What do you question? What suggestions do you have to one another?
Well, one thing I had wanted to mention earlier was that, you know, with regard to preserving our farmland and preserving, just within the city, preserving like our historical sites, and so we also adopted another program that would allow homeowners within our city to have tax credits, tax credit moratorium to you know, fix up their home in the city or maintain their home, to restore it, renovate it, and, you know, to make improvements. And not only does that, I mean, that encourages people to live within the city and therefore create more community, but it also allows for the preservation of our historic facilities and the beautification of our city. So that's another project we have, and Laurie might want to expand upon that.
Actually, we do have, you know, I'll toot our horn a few minutes about what goes on with our Main Street Renaissance program. We've been involved with Main Street Renaissance for about 12 years now. Started out with the governor's program and became a certified city, vied for several grant opportunities. We're able to totally renovate the Opera House. By the way, it did not cost one local penny. We were able to retire even the debt with the grant opportunity. That building has become the catalyst for our economic development offices. Anybody that comes to Springfield has certainly been in the Opera House. Somebody asked me, what in the world are you all going to do with that big building when you get it completed? And, you know, we had a dream, and our dream came true, because not only did it become a catalyst for economic development offices, but it became home to our thriving theater. You know, and I don't really think we can brag enough about what the theater has done for our community. You know, at a recent show, you know, we had people from 7 different states there. That's the kind of commerce that you can't create. You know, that's a tourism-related commerce that every small town wants. So we have recognized the benefit of the arts, certainly something that every sustainable community needs to do. We now are looking at another venue. You know, we were donated the Robertson Building. Currently working with a independent group through a bidding process, the same way we did the downtown supermarket building. Bought a decrepit building, renovated it, accepted proposals. Now we have Mordecai's. You know, I had a young man, an attorney from Northern Kentucky, who grew up here, and he said to me after one of the productions, wow, this is kind of like being in a bigger city now, because you can have dinner and drinks here and then go to a show. I could have never believed when I grew up here that I could go, you know, for dinner and to a show in the same night on Main Street in Springfield. So, I mean, we are offering those cultural opportunities that previously we had not been able to offer. But back to what we're doing with the Robertson Building, we're accepting proposals, you know, and we were very fortunate. We have a group that's done some renowned work throughout the state. This project will have to be funded through some tax credit programs and some grant programs. We'll be working with the group starting just next month. but it should result in some local housing. You know, one of the things Main Street Renaissance, you know, preaches is you have to make your downtowns pedestrian friendly. When people live downtown and they shop downtown, it makes your communities more viable. So we are looking too, with a venue working with the Women's Club, another way to promote arts, not necessarily, you know, performing arts, but we're looking at a way to promote local artisan craftsmen. You know, this community is full of local craftsmen, artists. You know, the domestic skills that the ladies in this community have, it's totally amazing. So, so we're looking at that. You know, we can't talk enough about what those kinds of programs can do, particularly when you can get your volunteer base involved in keeping these venues active. So it works great.
Well, and in speaking of that CDBG grant money, I was listening to the news a little bit today. And of course, those funds on the federal level, you know, where they are slashing the budget left and right, those, and we've been asked as city officials, councilmen and representatives, I'm sure, Johnny, you probably have too on the county level, because those funds are in jeopardy. And those funds are what, you know, keep our downtowns and our communities and our cities and counties, you know, those grant monies help us tremendously. We wouldn't be able to do these big projects otherwise. So, and anyway, you can contact your congressman about that.
It is a big concern because we've done a lot with grant money over, you know, the last decade or more. We've had, you know, probably
water expansion projects,
in excess of $10 million funneled into our local economy. And, you know, if those programs are depleted, you know, we're going to miss it. We're going to miss it. I mean, we're just going to have to make better choices with our local tax base, and you know, it's limited. So we're going to see the pinch. But I think it's something all local governments are going to, you know, are going to see. You know, again, we'll have to just work maybe not harder, but smarter, I guess they say.